Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
Our sources explain it all. For more information on upcoming shows or to suggest shows, email brianhayward2026@gmail.com. And now let's get into our show. Hayward Podworks is vision, deep dives into any topic.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. You gave us a really fascinating stack of source material this time, all focused on, well, what might be the ultimate personal ambition for many? Achieving wealth.
It's a huge topic.
It is. But this isn't about, finding a hot stock tip or anything like that. We're going deep into excerpts from The Power of Positive Thinking for Rich, and it's this blend of mental conditioning with really rigorous financial mechanics.
It is a fascinating combination.
Yeah.
I think our mission today is to give you a clear roadmap, synthesizing how these two things, the internal belief system and the external financial strategy, they have to align.
Right.
Because most people, they just focus on the how-to, the spreadsheets, the investments.
Right.
But the sources, they make it crystal clear that becoming rich, it starts and ends with conquering your own internal resistance.
And developing a system, a profitable system for living, really.
That's it.
And that's where we have to start. Because we often assume a lack of money is just a strategic failure, but according to this material, it's a failure of the mind first. Okay, let's unpack this. What are these primary, almost invisible mental roadblocks that are preventing people from getting there?
The foundational struggle is what the source calls confused or colluding beliefs. At its core, the human brain is hardwired for one thing. Seek pleasure, avoid suffering.
The basics of everything.
Right. But the friction starts when we have these positive thoughts about wealth. The comfort, the freedom. But at the same time, we're holding on to this deeply ingrained negative programming.
Like the old saying, money is the root of all evil deeds.
Exactly that. So your subconscious mind is like running this internal cost-benefit analysis.
Sure.
The reward is freedom, but if the perceived cost is, corruption or being a bad person, your brain just cancels out the motivation.
It just stalls.
It stalls. The sources describe your belief system like a magnet. If you have these strong positive and negative poles fighting each other, the mind becomes neutral. It's just a regular piece of metal, not a magnet attracting your goal.
That immediately makes me think of that story of Mary from the source material. It was such a perfect example. She's at a friend's magnificent house, and instead of feeling inspired, her first reaction is stress.
Yeah, just stress.
Why? Because her limiting belief just jumps right in. That would be troublesome to clean. And that tiny thought just neutralizes the entire dream of owning a place like that.
It's a perfect psychological snapshot, isn't it?
Yeah.
A false, limiting belief just unconsciously pushing away the very thing you think you want.
So that's one roadblock. What's another?
Another critical one is just a simple lack of necessity and clarity. If your objective is vague, your movement is aimless.
It's that taxi analogy they used. You hop in a cab, and when the driver asks where to, you just say, whatever.
Yeah, and you end up wasting time, energy, and probably somewhere you don't want to be because you never define the destination. And beyond that clarity, there has to be compulsion, a real drive.
So it's not enough to just want something.
No. You might want a Jaguar, but if that want doesn't transform into this deep internal must, then the first small setback, a bad quarter, a flat tire, the effort just stops.
And that necessity, that must, has to be backed up by ruthless accountability. The sources point out several action flaws, and one is just the failure to observe and measure your progress.
Right. In business, they suggest you need to be monitoring results at least once a month.
But this is where the rubber meets the road, isn't it? I mean, we know measurement is necessary, but for the average person or even a small business owner, finding the time for that kind of meticulous monitoring can feel overwhelming.
It can.
Does the source offer, like, a shortcut on that?
It doesn't offer a shortcut in effort, but it does in focus. The monitoring has to be laser focused on the results that actually matter for your specific path. Not just vanity metrics, but the material is really clear. The most damaging flaw of all is putting the responsibility on others.
The self-justifications, the economy's bad, or I don't have the right degree, I'm too young, I'm too old.
All of it. Blaming external factors, it prevents the one thing that actually moves you forward, which is learning from failure and then taking corrective action. It leads directly to that final mental flaw, just giving up too easily.
Like the classic anecdote of the people digging for gold who stopped just, 30 centimeters from the mother lode.
Inches away.
So the mental game is clearly the first biggest hurdle. But once you start correcting those flaws, the sources insist you need a hyper-clear target. What does rich even mean? If I ask 5 people, I'll get 5 different answers.
And this is so vital because rich is totally subjective. Forbes might say you're rich if you have $1 million annual income, but then you have a more functional definition, like from Robert Kiyosaki, which is you're rich if your passive income is greater than your cost of living.
The sources, though, they use this fantastic, really detailed framework from Anthony Robbins. It's a 6-stage financial ladder. Why that? Why not just a simple net worth number?
Because it gives you a sense of progression, and it gives you permission to start small. A vague goal like become a millionaire is just overwhelming. These stages, they offer manageable waypoints.
Okay, so what's stage 1?
Stage 1 is simply financial protection. It just means having enough safe capital to cover your minimum monthly spending for, say, 2 months up to 2 years without working. It's your buffer against disaster.
Got it, a safety net. Then stage 2 is financial security. This is where it gets sustainable, right? Your investments are actually generating income that covers your basic necessities.
Exactly. Housing, food, insurance, taxes, all without you having to actively work for it. That's your foundation.
And from there.
Stage 3 is financial vitality. This is where comfort comes in. Your investment income covers all those security needs plus meaningful luxuries. Education, holidays, a couple of nice things that really enhance your life.
And stage 4, financial independence, that's where your investments cover your current lifestyle for the rest of your life without working.
And then you leap to stage 5, financial freedom, where it's not just your current lifestyle, but your desired lifestyle, the one you dream of.
And then there's the final one, stage 6. Absolute financial freedom. And the language the source uses to define this is, well, it's pretty provocative.
It is. It's very absolute.
Yeah, it talks about having the confidence to make real whatever you want, whenever, wherever, with anyone, in a way that makes us and others powerless forever. I mean, that's an extreme level of control.
It is extreme. And I think we have to read that through the source's philosophical lens. It's not about literal dominance over other people. It's about a level of confidence and capability that's so high, your own financial power just fundamentally changes your relationship with the world. It's total certainty.
That definitely sets the ultimate bar. But no matter which stage you're aiming for, you have to activate your mind in very specific ways. Which brings us back to belief in goal setting.
Your beliefs, your determination, they literally determine your attitudes and actions. The source just hammers this point home. We saw that example of Adam Koo, labeled lazy and stupid until he was 13.
Right. Then he gets exposed to new methods, changes his self-determination, and by 26, he's built 4 businesses doing $20 million. It's a wild story.
And a powerful testament to the idea that your mindset isn't fixed. To harness that power, the author suggests using affirmations, strong emotional sentences. Maybe even combined with movement, like saying, my day is getting stronger and stronger while you're, physically active.
And when those old negative thoughts creep in,
you have to immediately counter them. Literally say, cancel or nonsense out loud to shut it down.
this also ties belief to things that seem random, like luck. The source mentions a UK study with lottery tickets.
Yeah, where lucky and unlucky groups bought tickets. And the study suggested that luck itself just depends on holding the right belief. If you believe you're unlucky, you literally don't see the opportunities right in front of you.
So once you've got that belief system aligned, the goals themselves have to follow 3 rules. The first is they must be positive.
Right. This is a kind of linguistic trick of the mind. If your goal is about avoiding something like, I do not want to be poor, your brain focuses on poor. It focuses on the thing you're trying to escape, not the destination.
Second, they have to be specific. The source has that great story about the seminar speaker who asks, who wants to be richer than now?
And he gives $1 to everyone who comes up.
Exactly. They were technically richer, but that wasn't the goal anyone actually intended. You have to be precise, down to the dollar amount and the date.
And third, they must be written. This is so important. Writing your goals down activates what's called your reticular active system, the RAS.
Can you just quickly break down what that is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Think of it like this. If you decide you want to buy a blue sedan, you suddenly start seeing blue sedans everywhere. That's your RAS. It tells your brain what to filter for, what to pay attention to. It's like a missile guidance system for your goals.
And to make sure those goals are true musts, we circle back to the pain and pleasure principle. You have to attach massive emotion to the goal.
You have to really feel it. The agony of failing and the intense pleasure of succeeding. Because your brain, when it's emotionally engaged, it can't tell the difference between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. That emotional drive is the engine.
So the mindset gives us the destination and the fuel. But how do we build the vehicle? Let's get into strategy. The formula for wealth creation in the sources is actually pretty simple on paper.
It is. It's just added values multiplied by leverage.
Added value is fairly straightforward, right? It's something you offer that not everyone else does. It could be honesty, a unique service, a bonus.
Right. But leverage, that is the crucial part. It's the tool that accelerates everything. And the key insight here is that you should never rely only on your own capital, your own ideas, contacts, or expertise. You leverage others.
So you're expanding your reach without just expanding your own physical effort. This leads to those 5 elements for making money to you. The first is having that added value, but the second is vital. You have to communicate it.
Oh, absolutely. I could have the best product in the world, this amazing added value, but if I don't communicate it effectively, my business will be slow or non-existent. So many people fail right there. They create the value, but they're terrible at telling anyone about it.
Then the third element is remembering your target market. You have to talk to the right people. There's no point selling luxury cars to beggars, as the source puts it.
And fourth, you have to communicate in significant amounts. You can't do it one by one if you want to grow quickly. You need scalable methods. And fifth, just keep it appropriate. Right message, right time, right place.
And the success of all of that hinges on understanding trends. The source describes fighting a trend like fighting a river current. You're just going to get swept away.
The examples are so clear today. They use the classic one of starting a videotape rental business guaranteed failure. The modern version might be, launching an app that needs heavy processing power on the user's phone when everything is moving to the cloud. You have to see where the river's flowing.
Okay, that brings us to the money farm, the strategy for building safe, sustained wealth through discipline and strict asset management.
Yes. And to survive all that rapid change that comes with following trends, you have to be learning constantly. The sources even give a rule for it. Spend 80% of your learning time with the best people in your field, mentors, seminars, and 20% learning about totally different fields to keep your mind open.
And we're back to the mental game again with the principle of delaying pleasure. That famous research with the kids and the chocolate candy.
The marshmallow test, yeah.
Yeah.
The kids who could wait 30 minutes to get 2 candies instead of 1 right away, they achieve success much faster 30 years later.
It's amazing how much of adult financial success is just winning that childhood willpower test over and over again.
It really is. And financial tactics are non-negotiable here. Wait until your passive income can pay for consumer goods. Or wait until you have at least 10 times the money needed for a luxury item.
But the real centerpiece of the money farm is the asset allocation rule. This is the bedrock.
It is the single most important discipline. You must, and I mean must, allocate a minimum of 10% of your income for safe investment. And this money should never be touched.
Not even the interest.
Not the interest, not the returns, nothing. Not until the returns alone are enough to fund your living costs. The source is so emphatic about this. If your other reserves run out, borrowing money is better than touching this 10% principle.
Wow, that really highlights the sacred nature of that capital. Okay, so what about the rest?
A minimum of 20% goes into reserves, your 5-6 month emergency fund, or into growth investments. And that leaves a maximum of 70% for your actual needs and lifestyle spending.
That structure is what allows you to build multiple streams of income, or MSI. And the sources are really careful to correct a common mistake here.
Yeah, MSI is not just getting a second job. It's not working from 6 p.m. to midnight. And MSI has to be something that makes money continuously without your personal active involvement.
So passive yield, not just trading more time for more money, but you can't just jump into that.
No, the requirement is focus. You have to build a strong primary stream of income first. That's your tree trunk. Once that's steady, then you can develop MSIs.
And those should ideally be low on time and capital, but high on thinking and returns.
Exactly. Easily duplicatable.
Okay, so to wrap this all up, this massive effort, the mindset change, the specific goals, the strict 10% rule, it all needs to be aligned with who we are as individuals. A major roadblock, the source says, is not knowing the path of natural or easiest to achieve goals.
This is where that Roger Hamilton diagram comes in, mapping out 8 personality types, or natural paths. The key isn't which one you are, but realizing you have to focus on your strengths and delegate your weaknesses.
So you might be the creator type, like a Steve Jobs, always focused on innovation. Or you could be the accumulator type, like a Warren Buffett, who is patient, analytical, and plays the long game.
Or maybe you're the trader type, like George Soros, profit-oriented, time-sensitive, all about the short-term win. And in complete contrast, you have the Lord type, who is the master delegator. They own many things, but are focused purely on oversight and acquisition, trusting experts to run the day-to-day.
And the crucial takeaway is that any profession can be approached from any of these paths. A doctor can be a star type, relying on their unique talent, or a Lord type who owns a chain of clinics and delegates the management.
It is always better to focus on improving what you're naturally good at, and just delegate the rest to the best people you can find. Don't try to be a creator if you're a natural accumulator. It won't work.
This has been an absolutely comprehensive deep dive. It really synthesizes how crucial the synergy is between all these parts. Correcting those internal self-sabotaging beliefs, setting hyper-specific written goals, leveraging value, and then practicing that strict financial discipline, especially that ironclad 10% rule.
We've really gone across the entire spectrum, haven't we? From mapping out basic financial protection all the way to that final, most extreme ambition, absolute financial freedom, that ultimate stage of total confidence.
And that is the thought we want to leave you with today. We really encourage you to reflect on that specific stage. If you had the confidence and the capability to execute any desire at any time, what is the single biggest, most profound thing you would truly decide to change in your world?
Thank you for providing us with this source material for today's deep dive.
Until next time.
Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
All right, this is Hayward Podworks, and that's today's episode. If this helped you, do me a favor, hit follow, leave a quick rating, and share it with one person who'd get value. Want the extras, links, and new drops? Check the show notes. Until next time, stay sharp, stay consistent, and keep building. Hayward Podworks. We'll talk soon.